Dentists that own their own practice, provide customer service excellence, and work with a professional SEO make the most money. Welcome to Dental SEO 101, a podcast dedicated to helping dentists retire well.
Hello and welcome to the Dental SEO 101 podcast, episode number 7 by First Dentist. My name is Ross Dunn, and I'm the Director of SEO and co-founder of First Dentist. All right, well, let's jump right into it here. This is our 7th episode, and we're going to start with a little non-SEO. It's more of a bulletin of interest, buyer beware kind of notice, and it's about ads in AI. And then, well, starts with ads in AI and then kind of gets into just using Google Ads. To start with, according to Google, search results with AI overviews, that's where we see the initial AI in a search result, are monetizing at the same rate as search results without AI overviews, which was actually a bit of a surprise to me, but that's good to know for them because, of course, they want to make more money. That's the whole purpose here. It's not so good in some respects because you'd almost hope those wouldn't do as well so that they wouldn't continue doing it because it does have an impact on all of our livelihoods for organic traffic, the non-paid traffic. But at least we do know that we can still get some attention there and benefits out of doing our paid ads, which is a good component of all marketing. Even when we get great organic results, we typically continue doing paid ads because it's just another medium and it's another way to get a click and that final sale. As long as it's got a good return on ad spend, who cares, right? Anyway, so in case you're not aware, advertisers have 3 placement options for AI overview ads. 1 is above the AI answer. Number 2 is integrated within the AI answer. Try and say that fast. And the next is below the AI answer. Now, I'm noting this just in case you wondered if you could take advantage of this. And then, yes, of course, Google always allows you to pay money and spend with them. Now, on a side note, if you're ever using Google Ads and it asks you to do automatic bidding or their AI-powered ads, seriously reconsider doing them. I personally say don't do them. I'm not saying that there's no situation where they may work well, but to begin with, they're a black box. You're going to get some information, mostly just conversions. This money went to this many conversions, but they're not going to tell you any detail. And I'm not the person doing this. Otherwise, I'd have far more better answer for you or more description here. But I have an ad specialist, thank goodness, because it's quite a different market than what I do, or a different area, niche. But I was speaking with him the other day, and our clients have questions about, well, what ad did what was doing this? What made the big sale here? And he's like, well, they tell us this, but I can't tell you any more than that because it's just not showing because it's an AI powered ad. And we did AI powered ads just to test them, and a couple of clients insisted on them. So fine, of course, we're providing a service. We will do that. But we've been kind of disgusted by just how little information there is on what is driving the business and what isn't. Whereas if it's being created by an ad specialist like Nathan, our in-house man, well, it's night and day. He can ensure that we know exactly what copy did it, what ad group, where the money's going, what kind of ad, was it a display ad, all these different things. There's data there that is very valuable that is not available in the AI-powered solutions. Plus, I guarantee that they are going to maximize every dollar you spend. No, I shouldn't say maximize. They're going to spend every dollar you have at Google. Whereas in our case, we would, as ad specialists, we would ensure that, and I think I can speak for any ad specialist that's good, we'll ensure that, yes, your dollars go the full mile, but also if we don't need to spend all of it, we don't. There's often money left over. I shouldn't say often. I'd say about half the time. Let's say half the time, to be really, really conservative. So that's a different experience. Granted, you pay for it. It's not free, quote unquote, like Google does, but you remember you're giving keys to the fox for the hen house. I mean, you're really just giving them open to, like, here's your money. Oh yeah, and you can run it too. It's not really a great recipe for positivity and results. And I also note that they're pushing partners in order to get the partner status with Google. You pretty much have to toe their line and say, yes, the best solution for this situation is using AI powered ads. Even if you don't believe it, it's the only way you'll get a passing test, a passing mark, and get their partner status. A little fishy and kind of disgusting, in my opinion. But anyway, that's what happens when you start dealing with monoliths and they get a bit growthy and out of control. All right, let's jump into general SEO news. Some of this may or may not be things you've seen or be of great interest, but I think they're worth adding to the show today. First is Google is testing a recently viewed label. It appears next to search results snippets that you've clicked in your recent search history. Google has tested similar labels in the past, including a you visit option label back in 2023. Now, we're unsure if this label could increase click-through rates or reduce it when searchers see it, but I think it's kind of handy. I like having insights into what I've already looked at. Right now, the main insights being the same thing they've had for decades, which is if you've got history or you haven't flushed your cache or anything like that, you'll see usually a discolored, a slightly different color of link on that page for any links you've already visited. But a little more clarity can't hurt, I think. But we'll see. We'll need to see what kind of click-through rates those produce. On May 29th, actually, as I do this, it's June 13th. So I know a lot of this stuff is probably a little farther down the line, but there was some search volatility around May 29th that has continued for a while. A lot of it has calmed down, but it is the next one after the last confirmed date, which was March 2025. There are other potential Google updates reported by Barry Schwartz throughout May, but none of them appear to have had much impact. So not much else to say at this point. As far as I've seen so far, this one hasn't done a lot, but I'd like to keep you on top of things. Google updates when local questions and answers display. This is another Search Engine Roundtable article. A lot of our great content is from at least initiated, sparked by Barry Schwartz over at Search Engine Roundtable. That's seroundtable.com. Can't recommend them enough. Great. He's a great guy and he's got great info. All right. Signs have indicated that Google's been slowly phasing out the questions and answers section of Google business profiles, which had a lot of us really quite worried because I think it's a very valuable component to your profile. Even if you probably haven't used it, you should be using it, but many people don't. However, it doesn't seem to be quite that bad. Joey Hawkins, one of our colleagues in the industry who's focused on local, noted that the new criteria for Google Maps questions and answers showing up are, one, Google, the Q&A is visible in Google search when a user clicks on a result from a map pack. So when they actually click on the result in that little map pack that shows up within a search result. However, it will not be shown if the search leads directly to a single result or a knowledge panel without a map pack. In Google Maps, the Q&A feature is available across all search types. So if you're doing any searches within the Google Maps application, you'll always see it. Additionally, business owners can access all Q&A via their Google business profile and their API. So you can still access it and add to it, which I strongly recommend doing. It's a great way to ensure that you've answered some of the more basic questions that you get all the time, and perhaps some of the questions that I would say this is probably more of a focus, the questions that may turn people off, that they're looking at you trying to decide if they want to go to your practice, and you say yes or no. Do we handle insurance, or do we accept insurance-based service, and so on? Anything that might limit them from coming to you, and you can reassure them otherwise. Or if you want to just allay the potential of them contacting you, and this can happen a lot when you're getting too many calls asking about a particular service you don't provide, and you just want to nip that in the bud, well, you can add that into the Google answers and questions, a Q&A. So that's a good place to do it. And sometimes they ask questions, which is gold. That doesn't happen as often as I'd like to see, but it does happen, and you want to make sure you do have a great answer to provide. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about, but it sort of occurred to me when I was putting all this together, is that traffic analysis these days is frankly a nightmare. What do I mean by that? Well, Google Analytics 3 was phased out was it a couple years ago now? I mean, time's flying. I know Google Analytics 4 has been around. We've got easily a year of data for our clients. So maybe it has been a couple of years, at least a year since it was officially phased out. And usually our clients have a couple of years of data if they listened and we got things started quickly. At any rate, all that data from Google Analytics 3 wasn't passed along, which was very curious of Google, wasn't it? Like in our case, we had literally decades of information in our Google Analytics profile that poof, it's just ridiculous that they can do that. But we don't own it, I guess. So, anyways, um, so now we've started off with a whole flat, empty platform of data. We began accruing it as soon as we could, but it's based on the current status where a lot of information isn't provided anymore due to privacy restrictions in browsers, ad blockers, simply incognito blockers, anything like that, anything that could cut the data out that we get. Well, they couldn't have really created a better storm because not only did Google do this to us, but they've also launched AI overviews, which has dramatically changed how a search result looks. And, we've been looking at data for clients and going, okay, clients are coming to us going, well, why is this change? Why do we see this big dip? Well, you're looking at the results now and you're looking at the results last year. What's the big change? Well, search results don't even look close to what they used to. In many cases, not all the time, but many cases, there's a big AI overview that's answering the questions that people want to see. Yeah, probably not very well. I've seen a lot of terrible answers, but they're out there. So that has reduced the amount of informational clicks to people's websites. That's showing quite clearly in results. So it may look like you're seeing less traffic, and you may just be doing that, but that traffic may not have been the traffic that was converting into business. So year over year data is mired in inaccuracies. Do keep that in mind when you're looking at your reporting. It's exceedingly difficult to drag any really useful information out of that right now. And I know clients have very little time. So when they do jump in there, they make sometimes hasty decisions, and they're like, they get very concerned. And hey, I get it. If you're busy and this is all new to you, oh my gosh, I've seen this big drop. But I want to explain that this is going to be happening, and you're going to see even worse changes in analytics. Positive too, probably, but you're going to see all over the place. It's going to be chaotic, and that's if you have your data and you haven't just switched to Google Analytics 4. Okay, so you're also in another position too, and that is because you're not getting this proper data, there is only one thing you can really focus on. Are you getting more conversions? But if you haven't set up conversion tracking properly on your Google Analytics platform, you're even more trouble here because what are you going to get out of it? It's you've been cut out of the knees, really. And it's partly your fault, but partly whoever's working with you or not working with you. And if you haven't had anyone working with you who's an expert in SEO or analytics, well, that's probably why. Yeah, how could you possibly know? But it is important that conversion optimization is set up. It doesn't matter what the conversions are. It could be something as simple as stating that a person has been on more than 3 pages for or has visited more than 3 pages on your site. That's a conversion of one kind. It's not a conversion that's leading to a sale, but it is something of some benefit. So do keep in mind that you have these different types of conversions. The other one could be, of course, that they're calling you, that they've sent in an inquiry on your site. All of these need to be properly set up within Google Analytics and the proper tracking codes, pixels, whatever it might be that we're going to use on your site. That has to be done. So if you're in a position where that's not being done, get on it immediately, because the sooner you do, the sooner you have data that you can actually look at with some certainty of year over year benefits. Because conversions that's fine. You want to look at that year over year. That's what really matters, not how much traffic you're getting. Okay. I hope that made sense. I felt like I rambled a bit there, and then I saw a notice, and I thought, oh no. So, anyways, don't mind. It goes off and strays off. Squirrel. All right, AI in search. Let's jump into this section here. Google's Gary Eish has warned that AI agents will soon create web congestion. This is an article from Search Engine Journal, and I don't want to get into too much of this, but it is important to note that we're coming up to a place where if you had a larger site, this is probably not going to impact many practices, I should note, but you just never know. Things changing. And if you're on cheap hosting, that can make an impact. Anyways, AI agents are essentially unmanned drones of sorts that are sent out by someone to do a certain amount of work. And often that requires crawling and then indexing particular pages on sites. As agents become more and more common, our websites are going to be bombarded by these agents. And since we already have a fair amount of processing power on our websites, our servers, going to just search engines coming to our site, nothing staggering. This is just going to make things a bit worse and potentially a lot worse for bigger clients who have massive sites. So he provides some suggestions. Again, some of these are going to be more applicable to giant websites, but the heck, it might be something that at least you should know about. So first, infrastructure. Evaluate your current hosting arrangements to ensure that it can handle the projected traffic loads, which are going to be high as more and more agents are out there. If you have a giant website, consider a content delivery network, and that includes if you have videos. Videos are a huge suck on terms of processing power and site speeds. It can slow things down a lot. So if you can have those in a content delivery network, not a bad idea. Access control. Review your robots.txt file to ensure you've effectively managed which AI crawlers have access to your website. It's important to block unwanted bots. How can you do that right now? It's easier said than done, but it can be done. And if you have any questions about that, we're happy to help. I don't have a full tutorial on doing anything like that yet, but I can see it coming. Database performance. When you're working on optimizing your database, you do want to make sure that it can manage resource consumption better. Again, larger sites, when you're talking about WordPress, I would say that an aspect of that is if you have a WordPress site and you've got 20 plugins, I'd be concerned. Plugins require a fair amount of resources on a hosting platform. And the less you have in there, the less intensity, less burden on the platform. Oftentimes we see plugins on websites that are simply unnecessary or could easily be coded into the website to remove that potential burden. So do consider that. Monitoring, you want to ensure that you are monitoring the website. This again, there's levels of importance here. I mean, definitely monitor websites, but monitor your websites for different web crawlers and AI agents. But I would say this is more applicable to larger sites that have an admin person who's doing that on a regular basis. For smaller practices, this isn't going to be a problem yet. All of this is changing so fast. I don't even know what will happen next week when it comes to this kind of detail anyway. I've got some hunches for the other stuff, but not sure about that one. Now, as you probably already noted, if you're in the US, Google has launched AI mode. It's a tab on your search result page. They did launch it on May 20th. However, as of today, or no, yesterday, that's June 12th, they were rolling it out completely to all US users. In AI mode, there's some updates. Well, first of all, AI mode leads to search results that are 2, 3, or even 5 times the traditional length of an AI overview. It's quite in depth. Don't take it as faith, like as writ. Make sure you do. If this is something really important, make sure you do your homework. I've seen absolutely terrible results that are completely wrong, full of hallucinations, and are just a waste of space and data power. So do keep that in mind. There is one aspect of AI mode that's really cool. It's called deep search. It uses this, and I'll quote, this is from Liz Reed at Google. She says, deep search uses the same query fan out technique as their general AI mode, but they take it to the next level. It can issue hundreds of searches, reason across disparate pieces of information, and create expert level, fully cited report in just minutes, saving you hours of research, unquote. It includes search live, personal context in AI mode, shopping in AI mode. It's pretty cool where you can actually try on, you can take a scan of yourself of sorts and then try different articles of clothing on a virtual you. How good it is, I have no idea. That's shopping, and then try it on is actually what I meant there. Agentic checkout, no thank you, where you can have them do the buying for you. And Gemini 2.5. And on a geeky end of things, AI mode in the Google Search Console. For the longest time, we haven't had any data to look at, which AI's search engines have been to our sites. How do we track that? What's going on? There was no referral data. The good news is, as of May 26th, that AI mode data is coming to performance reports in Google Search Console. There is no set date yet, and it's not live yet, but they do say it's coming. So yay, the more info we have about AI traffic to your site, the better, and the more we can act on it. So it's pretty exciting to us. Well, I hope that wasn't too nerdy for you. You got some benefits. I do love passing along this information and just making everyone a little wiser about managing their websites and creating a successful practice. We are here for you, and we want to do that not only through the podcast, but directly with you if you have any need for service or even some consultation. So please let us know at First Dentist. Well, on behalf of myself, Ross Dunn, Director of SEO and co-founder of First Dentist, thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions you would like answered, either on the podcast for free, hey, there you go, free consulting, or on a more private consulting basis, please email info@firstdentist.com. Thank you for listening, and remember to tune into our next episode where we will be sharing, words today, more 101 SEO tips and news on Dental SEO 101. Thank you.